safe streets, vibrant neighborhoods, successful business and commerce. These are things that make a healthy community. We are a diverse community, rural, suburban, urban, a multitude of languages and ethnicities, ages and experiences. We are a collaborative community. Public-private partnerships make us a model community that others want to follow. It is what makes us unique. It is what makes us strong. The employees of Kent County reflect our diversity and seek to serve our communities.
People in this county, in this area, we wrap our arms around each other. We come together to collaborate, to solve problems. We're all working for the good of the whole. And I think that's wonderful. And you can see it. You can see it as you drive around Kent County.
Our impact starts the day a baby is born and a birth certificate is issued, to protecting children from deadly diseases through vaccination, to the public safety and justice provided by law enforcement and the courts, to offering veterans services and caring for the elderly. Every day we work to keep our communities robust.
I think if you are somebody who is interested in serving your community, in building a strong knowledge base and a good group of people to work with, then the county is one of your best employment opportunities out there. It's been completely rewarding in every way I could possibly explain for 26 years, and I feel like I grow every single day still today.
Leading these dedicated employees are 19-member Board of Commissioners and our County Administrator Controller, along with our elected officials and appointed department directors, placing emphasis on civic involvement, quality housing, vibrant neighborhoods, and strong, solid infrastructure to allow businesses to thrive. Professional, dedicated, collaborative, and innovative.
Behind the scenes, collaboration between foundations, charitable organizations, nonprofits, for-profit businesses, public sector demonstrated through the county, the city of Grand Rapids, the townships, all the cities and the villages in our area. If we don't come together, then we will not have the strength that we have today, and I only hope to build upon that.
Our aim is to make our communities the best they can be. We are involved in exciting development projects, sustainable recycling programs, and creative progressive prevention programming. We partner with elected officials, impacting policy ideas that become great achievements. We seek opportunities to reach out into the community and offer our services to help our residents make Kent County thrive.
Our relationship is solid, both from a staff standpoint at the county level as well as the Board of Commissioners. And they understand what we do and the benefits that we can do for the community, and vice versa. We couldn't do what we do without the help of Kent County.
While most of us are busy running our lives, Kent County's elected officials, administrator controller, and over 1,600 employees are serving the communities where we live our lives, so we can all have a place we are proud to call home. Kent County, its life well run.
Oh, good morning.
It is.
It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to the Finance and Physical Resources Committee meeting for Tuesday, December 19th. It is 8:30. I'd like to welcome fellow commissioners, fellow staff, and guests who are here today. Thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to come to our meeting. With that, I will start with public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the board this morning? Seeing none, I will close public comment, and that will take us to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Support.
Moved and supported. Any items have to be pulled from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item 3 from the Drain Commission. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to authorize the Drain Commissioner to initiate action to determine the level of Laraway Lake as petitioned for by not less than 2/3 of the parties owning land abutting the lake. A petition to the Board of Commissioners was received on September 18, 2017, requesting that the county establish the lake level of Laraway Lake. The petition was signed by at least 2/3 of the parties owning land abutting the lake. Pursuant to Section 307 of Public Act 451 of 1994 as amended, the Board of Commissioners must initiate action to determine the lake level for the protection of the public health, welfare, and safety and the conservation of natural resources of the state and to preserve property values around the lake. The Circuit Court makes final decision on whether a lake level shall be established and the lake level at which it is established. If the lake level is approved by the Circuit Court, total cost to establish the legal level, lake level will be paid by Cascade Charter Township, and the cost to maintain the legal lake level will be assessed to benefited lake property owners. Section 307 also provides that the county board may delegate the powers and duties under the act to either the Drain Commissioner, the Road Commission, or another delegated authority. It has been the practice in Kent County to delegate this authority to the Drain Commissioner. The Drain Commissioner is requesting authorization to proceed to establish the level of Laraway Lake.
So moved.
Okay, moved. Is there support? Support. Okay, moved and supported. We'll do questions, comments, and discussion. Why don't we start with having our Drain Commissioner come up. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning. So this is another one of those nice projects of a community wanting to establish a level in their lake so that their yards aren't flooded and it doesn't dry up in the summer. So what you end up doing is damming the outlet so the water can be retained back at what level. There still will be quite a bit of study. It has to be done by engineering firm so they can establish what's the proper level for that lake has to be. So that's pretty much what it is, and then once we can get that study going, it'll probably be a year before it'll be able to go before a judge.
Okay, questions?
Well,
Yes,
is this-
Mr. Mask?
So is there anything now that's controlling the lake level, or are you going to put a dam in some sort and then?
I think there is, they have some blockage, you know, there's a pipe, that's what it is.
So, but you're
So
gonna-
it's restricted by a pipe,
Okay, but you're going to,
but some people think the water should be higher and the pipe should be created into a dam.
okay, so you're going to figure what that cost is, and then they're all willing to pay for it.
Yep.
And
Yeah, we gave them some rough estimates and fattened it up a little bit, and they didn't seem to blink at it, so
Okay.
they want this pretty bad.
where is this lake?
It's in Cascade. It's off from Fulton Street, isn't it, Doug?
No, it's off Cascade Road between Laraway Lake Drive and Beard Drive.
There you go.
Okay.
That's why I brought the boss.
It's over there someplace, southeast, okay. Well, good, okay,
Yeah.
well,
It's a small lake, but it's, you know, private.
and it's surrounded by houses. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, it's
Yeah.
all,
It looks like it's a wet swampland, kind of.
good.
Commissioner Talon?
Thank you, Chair. Do you have any sense for what precipitated this? What was the issue that caused the property owners to want to establish a level?
Doug can answer that. Like I said, that's why I brought my boss.
What precipitated it was there is a pipe that drains one end of the lake, and that pipe failed. So they had to replace that pipe. Now the question is that pipe at the right elevation? Because if it's too high, the water gets too high and starts flooding out the properties. If it's too low, then they have mud instead of a nice beach. So they want something that is regulated by the Drain Commissioner so that people don't mess with the elevation of the lake.
So the pipe has been replaced already? The one
Cascade
that
Township
failed?
went and replaced the pipe.
And do the neighbors not like the,
I think
The
they
result
like
of
it,
that?
they just don't want somebody out there putting bricks in front of the pipe to raise the lake. And it just gives the government the authority to control that lake level.
Commissioner Intor?
Thank you, Chair. I was just curious, I've seen this happen before in different areas where people are complaining about lake levels, but they're also irrigating out of the lake, which causes the lake levels to come down. Do they allow irrigation from out of that lake, or?
They probably do, it's a residential area that surrounds the lake. So if they do irrigate, it would be just for sprinkling purposes.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
You know, Madam Chair, if I could suggest, instead of having the drain commissioner oversee this, we could create a special division within the sheriff's office to have lake patrol to check these.
Yeah, good luck with that.
They would have a lot more authority, you know?
Oh, I'd hate to take away your job security, drain commissioner. Do you have a question?
Oh, yeah, I have one question
Please,
for
go
you.
ahead.
Is that 2/3 of the parties owning property abutting that lake signed a petition? Who was that petition initiated by?
The petition was initiated by the property owners under the oversight of Cascade Township.
Well, I think,
And it's 2/3 of the owners, not 2/3 of the properties. So they
Okay.
have to figure out who owns the property and how many owners there are on each property.
well, it's always impressive to see that we have the community's involvement in these decisions. So appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That takes us to item number 4 on our agenda from Fiscal Services. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to appropriate an additional $221,200 to the 2017 Register of Deeds Automation Fund budget from Register of Deeds Automation Fund reserves. The Register of Deeds Automation Fund is used to account for funds set aside under provisions of Public Act 698 of 2002. The fund was created for upgrading technology in the Register of Deeds office. For 2017, the Board of Commissioners appropriated $703,300 to the Register of Deeds Automation Fund budget. An additional $221,206 appropriation from Register of Deeds Automation Fund reserves is being requested. The additional funding would be utilized to pay for components of the 2014 aerial photography CIP project.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, is there support? Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Talon.
Thank you, Chair. I guess I have a number of questions about where the dollars are coming from. Were they recognized from those sources in? Well, this is 2014 aerial photography CIP.
Right.
So,
Right.
So are these? Is this additional 221,000? The Register of Deeds Automation Fund reserves is where it's coming from.
Correct.
And were those reserves created out of general funds or from some other source?
Good morning. No, the reserves are built up with the funding that comes in annually from the $5 per document that's registered in the clerk's office for technology improvements in the Register of Deeds office. What happened here is the clerk in 2014 agreed to participate in this project, but it never made it into the Register of Deeds budget. And because it didn't make it into the budget, that didn't trigger the internal transaction to transfer the funds from the Register of Deeds office to the CIP. So now we're just going back and in the process of cleaning up that project and getting ready to close it out. We're just tying up all the loose ends.
And it is completed?
It will be completed, if not already, this year.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item number 5, also from Fiscal Services. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to appropriate an additional $2,908,000 to the 2017 Dispatch Collection Fund budget from estimated revenues. The Dispatch Collection Fund accounts for the authorized levy of a surcharge on users of communication devices with billable addresses in Kent County as provided by Public Act 164 of 2007. In November 2016, the voters approved an increase in the surcharge of 70 cents per device per month from 45 cents to $1.15. Surcharge fees collected are used to pay the debt service, and the balance is distributed to the Kent County Dispatch Authority. The 2017 dispatch collection budget was based on the old surcharge rate of 45 cents per device. For the 2017 budget, it was originally estimated that $3,800,000 in revenue would be collected in the dispatch collection fund. It is now estimated collections for 2017 will be between $6.4 million to $6.8 million. An additional appropriations of up to $2.9 million from estimated revenues is required for distribution to the Kent County Dispatch Authority.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion? Yes, Commissioner Mass.
So what happened with the estimate? Why was it so far off? And now we've got a nice windfall. And who's gonna spend it, and how's it gonna be spent?
We're going to need it.
Well, I'm sure we will,
We're building
I guess, but-
towers right now.
Well,
Probably a
that's
number
part
of
the
variables, but I'll
millage
have
that we
Marvin
had.
speak to that.
Well,
Marvin, you just might want to stay in the front row,
This is
but
fine.
go ahead.
Good morning.
yeah, this is,
Look at bullet number 3, it explains that the original budget was based on the old surcharge rate of 45 cents. And
okay.
this increase is a result of that increase to $1.15.
So this was built into their budget, basically operating budget, having the full 6.8 rather than the 3.8.
Yeah, so the original budget, like I said, was based on the 45 cents. That would have generated the 3.8. Now it's at $1.15 for approximately half the year. That's generating the estimated
Another
6.4
kinda-
to $6.8 million.
Another cleaning up, kind of, what you're doing. Okay.
Marvin, are we finding that the amounts collected from the carriers are increasing with the surcharge increase?
You know, I can't speak to that, but it did not, when I reviewed it, it did not appear to be. It just appears to be that maybe, you know, there could be a slight variation in the number of units, but this is strictly in the result of the increase in the surcharge.
So the checks are going higher. They would go higher, I would expect, right?
The bills? I'm sorry.
No, the checks that we receive
Oh, yes.
should be increasing from the carriers.
Sorry.
That's
yes.
happening.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Good. Because I know we have no way of auditing that with communication carriers, which has been a challenge we face as a county and other counties face. Yes, Commissioner Mass?
Well, I think, no, okay, that is, I thought, what you were asking. Has somehow this additional charge opened up the carriers to be a little more accurate with their accounting, but evidently not. What you're saying is it's kind of the same number of users, but we're now charging $1.15 rather than 45. That's what's bringing that extra revenue in, not the carriers doing some auditing or figuring out.
Yeah, and I really couldn't speak
No.
with accuracy to the number of devices, but this is a direct result of the increase in the surcharge.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item 6, also from Fiscal Services.
Yes, this is a request to approve a resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of bonds not to exceed $24 million by the Kent Hospital Finance Authority for Pine Rest Christian Mental Health Services. Pine Rest Christian Mental Health Services has requested that the Kent Hospital Finance Authority issue bonds and loan the proceeds for the purpose of refunding approximately $4 million of indebtedness which were used to construct and add an approximately 35,500 square foot hospital addition, to reimburse approximately $8.2 million of capital expenditures made to construct and equip the facility, and to finance approximately $11.7 million for a new electronic health record system and to pay the cost of issuing the bonds. The authority adopted a resolution authorizing issuance of the bonds on behalf of Pine Rest Christian Mental Health Services on December 7, 2017, and held a public hearing concerning it on December 14, 2017. The resolution, if adopted, will approve the issuance, sale, and delivery of the bonds by the authority. The authorization granted by the county is solely for the purpose of complying with the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. This indebtedness will not constitute a general obligation or debt for the County of Kent.
So moved.
Okay, motion's moved. Is it supported? Supported. Moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have some general questions for the bond council. Just about the overall interest environment out there for bonds, and is this a fixed rate?
Paul, is this a fixed rate bond? This is. Yeah, it is a fixed rate bond. Okay. Yeah. Paul's a CFO at Pine Rest.
Hi, Paul.
As well. Yeah.
So how's the environment, in the interest rate environment? Still pretty good?
I think so. I mean, I think if you look over the last probably 9 months or so, the rates have gone up. LIBOR rate has probably gone up 100 basis points or so. But I think that's probably why a lot of borrowers are looking towards a fixed rate at this point, because that seems to be the trend. I mean, the Fed just had an increase recently as well, so, right.
So this is a fixed rate. Thanks.
Yeah.
Would you just take a minute and introduce yourself? We have this recorded. Some people might not.
Sure. Pete Lozicki. I'm with Rhodes McKee, and I'm legal counsel for the Kent Hospital Finance Authority.
Yes.
Sure. If we could request Paul to step forward. Does this go through the, what was always called the critical needs study, or I think didn't Lodi chair that for a long time?
Lodi Zorenstein?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. But
something does this go through that kind of process of proving necessity?
I think it did in the past, but as those certificate of need issues have passed and the Alliance for Health has evolved into something else, those requirements no longer exist. We'd be happy to go through such a process. It's not really
so
required.
it's not a necessity to have that.
I think maybe just to add a little bit of color to the interest rate assumption, the Finance Committee at Pine Rest looked at interest rate trends over a 50-year period. We still remain at really all historic lows. And you may recall, I'll be honest with you, I don't know today what's happening in Congress, but the ability for these bonds to be tax exempt has been in question, and as a result of tax reform. And so there was urgency to get this done before the end of the year. We appreciate the help of the county to make that happen. So in light of them being tax exempt, which gives us a interest rate reduction, it made sense really for Pine Rest to fix its costs and make sure that we didn't have any interest rate exposure going forward.
I understand.
You should also know that this is going to be privately held by Macatawa Bank, which will give us an even added interest rate benefit, so we're very pleased about that.
Very nice.
Yes, Commissioner Talon.
Thank you, Chair. I recognize, over time, the issuance of bonds for construction. This looks like obviously it's refunding a piece of the original construction indebtedness, but it's also going back and borrowing to pay for the additional costs, what are they called here, to construct and equip the facility, which is already built, I assume. So we're borrowing to pay what we've already spent, and then the surprising thing is that Pine Rest is also borrowing to buy software to build an EHR. So rather than just funding that through normal operations. So can you talk a little bit about those unusual things?
Well, just maybe 2 points on that. The first is this is all new construction that has happened in the last year. So this is all relatively new construction. So this isn't stuff that we built a long time ago. And secondly, the bank prefers a real estate piece of it. Frankly, most of it is going towards software. So we're really trying to, we're in the process of implementing actually the same system that Spectrum has been implementing, the Epic software solution. That obviously is expensive, but we view it's key to our future around improved accessibility and access around those issues to make that happen. So it really is more directed towards the software purchase. The way the bond is structured is more towards the real estate bent to give the bank a little bit more security, because banks like hard assets as opposed to software, at least in this environment.
Just follow up, I'm a little bit surprised that Pine Rest doesn't have cash assets that would enable it to purchase and develop an EHR without having to borrow to do that. Can you talk about that?
Well, only from the normally it would, but these types of expenditures across the whole Pine Rest system are expensive, number one. Number two, it always is a fiduciary responsibility to say, hey, listen, if we can invest at taxable rates and continue to borrow, at least now, at tax exempt rates, what should be the right blend of debt versus cash resources on hand, as well as fundraising in the community, which is an important part of what Pine Rest does as well. So those issues have all been thoroughly vetted through our board to say, hey, listen, we're an institution that has relatively little debt. Given the fact that the tax laws might change, we're gonna take advantage of that opportunity and use that as opposed to using existing cash resources.
So if I could translate that into my terminology, it's cheaper to borrow it than to use your own resources at the interest rates that you would have to give up.
The fixed interest rate, I want to say, when all is settled down, is going to be in the low threes. Our historical investment returns have been 6.5.
Okay.
So that's the dilemma. So it's no different than you and your deciding whether you're going to buy a cottage or another house or something. Do you use your savings, or do you borrow a little bit? That's exactly the position Pine Rest was in.
Well, that's very enlightening, because our investment rate at the county is less than 2%, our rate of return. So, right. So that's a big difference there.
That's because you are limited in terms of your equity exposure, I would assume, by your investment policy.
Yep.
Self-limited. Yep. Pine Rest has, just to give you 2 cents, Pine Rest has about a 65-35, 65 equity, 35 fixed income asset allocation that's yielded those returns.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing no other questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
That takes us to item number 7, Kent County Community Action. Wayman?
Yes, this is a request to accept and appropriate $996,800 in various grants and to authorize the board chair or designee to execute the grant agreements and approve grant extensions and changes within 15% of the original award. Kent County Community Action has applied for and been awarded the following grants. And they are from the Kent County Senior Millage Outreach Grant, Senior Millage Transportation Grant, Senior Millage Weatherization Grant, Senior Millage Meal Grant, Grand Rapids City Water Assistance Fund, Kent County Admin and Program Fund, totaling $632,578, and the Interurban Transportation Program, Nutrition Services Incentive Program, Low-Income Heating Energy Assistance Program, totaling $364,200. The Kent County Community Action has operated these grants successfully when it was a part of Area Community Service Employment and Training. Services offered include payments for water shutoffs, senior outreach and assistance, senior transportation, senior weatherization services, senior home delivered and congregate meals, as well as energy assistance.
Is there a motion to approve? So moved and supported. Questions, comments, and discussion?
So,
Yes, Commissioner Mass.
Probably just a little bit, because I was just talking with Susan. So some of these start January 1, some of them start October 1. You became an agency in October 1. How did we do some of those other ones? Well, I guess we carried through with senior millage stuff the last 3 months of the year, fiscal year.
So this department has a number of funds to try to align these grant years. So that's how we've set these up, as you see, like the fiscal years that end 12/31 of 18, and then those fiscal years that end 9/30 of 18, so that we're lumping those together for easier accounting.
Okay, so they all will become 1231? Yeah.
The 3 grants that don't start 1/1 were not awarded to us. They had a delay. The ITP, which is the Interurban Transportation Program, we did have allocated, but they gave us more by 3,400. So that didn't meet the 15%. It was over the 15% allocation appropriation, so we had to come back for that, but we're happy for the money because it's been $16,000 for years. And then the Nutritional Services Incentive Program is a new program through the area agency in West Michigan. And last year they gave us a lump sum amount in September of 2017. And this year, based on the units that we provided last year, they're giving us a monthly amount of money. And so this is a new grant to us since September, but they gave us a number that we could work with this year rather than a lump sum payment in September. And then the Low-Income Heating Energy Assistance Program is for weatherization and utilities. And the LIHEAP funds have not been released federally until sometime early, like the 3rd week of November. And then they funnel through the state, and we don't have those yet, but we have a semi-promise to get those.
Good, okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That brings us to item 8 on the agenda, which is miscellaneous. Is there any Commissioner miscellaneous for the Finance and Fiscal Resources Committee this morning? Yes, Commissioner Voorhees.
Merry Christmas to all.
Hey.
And to you.
Commissioner Womack.
Yes, I just want to thank Wayman Britt for his continued impressive, exceptional service, even during the loss of a close family member, his sister Vida, and just want to send out my condolences as well as condolences from the rest of the board.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Commissioner Antor.
I'd like to echo that for Wayman and his family, and also I won't be here for the meeting on Thursday, so I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And a Merry Christmas going back to our youth type of Christmas. That type. I think we kind of lost track of that youthful Christmas anymore, so just enjoyable.
Perfect. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, we are adjourned.